quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello and welcome to Tabletop Gold, The Roots of Ruin. It's episode 29. We are back and badder than ever, as they say. It's the last episode of 5. The hero points are going to flow like wine from the horn of Bacchus, right? Oh. I'm Lars Casteen, your vaguely literate but not particularly host. And I'm joined today by 4 of my close friends. Let's say hello to all of them. David, the Tin Man Chernicoff, is here.
Hello, Lars.
Zoe Chernicoff is also here.
Hello.
Armet Humphreys is here.
Good evening.
And Robin Lange is here.
Bonjour.
We have just solved a technical issue with our recording setup.
The greatest hack ever.
Computer scientists hate this one weird trick.
I know, I kind of hate it.
I also sort of hate it.
So, Armet, you've been having some computer troubles lately, right?
That would be accurate. Yeah, my computer is getting older, and its ability to sort of run multiple programs at once as we sort of need to. Well, it's a bit of a challenge for the old girl, and so
I love that your computer is a horse. All of a sudden, it's like
a trusty steed.
Yeah, the old Wilbur.
So we've had a thing which we'll post a video. I think that by the time you hear this, we'll probably have posted a video of this last week. We talk to each other when we're recording the show on Zoom, and Armat's audio and video get to be hilariously out of sync. Like 45 seconds of lag between when Armat says something and when we see him say something.
Brilliant ventriloquy work.
And you found a solution for this problem tonight.
As it turns out, all you have to do is apply frozen Italian cooking as a heat sink to the base of the computer. Works like a charm. I'm currently playing on a frozen lasagna. Exactly. And as things start to heat up,
or individual?
You know, this is family size. It's
okay,
a HEB.
Okay, so you want a big, like a 4-person lasagna, kind of.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't want to skimp.
Okay. I imagine it should fit under the base of the computer. You want to spread out the coolness, right? Spread out the ice.
I would say this probably depends on the size of one's laptop, no?
That's a good question. What size is the laptop?
It's like a 15-inch
laptop
one.
size?
It's
15
laptop
inch.
size. Yeah.
A nice medium-sized laptop.
Yeah, you don't need like, an industrial like catering lasagna. Although I imagine it's going to perform for you. You know, that's like that's the gaming PC lasagna.
Yeah.
This is just like your amateur lasagna.
But you're saying you don't need it. You don't need it yet. Like maybe next week you're going to need to graduate to a larger lasagna than you're currently using to cool your computer down.
Right. Well, you know how
slope.
computers and Moore's law, every 6 months you need a bigger lasagna, you know, that whole thing.
Double
Time
the
to
size.
go to the
Moore's law.
What's the big grocery chain down in Austin? I was going to say King Cullen, but that's out in Long Island. What's the Austin one?
HEB. Love my HEB. Huh. It's great.
The reason that I bring up the specter of an ever-increasing lasagna is that 2 weeks ago you didn't need any lasagna. So we have gone from 0 to one lasagna, and that is like an infinite multiplicative increase.
That's a huge lasagna increase. Yeah.
The thing that was so great about this, which we weren't recording at the time that it happened, but that like we're having these sync things, and Matt's trying various things to deal with it, and then he just goes, "All right, hang on a second, I'm going to grab a lasagna." No antecedent.
This is the only possible solution.
Right. While he was gone, we figured out what he probably meant by that, but it was just so matter of fact, and then it worked so well.
It worked immediately. The moment the laptop touched lasagna, we were back in business.
And this is, of course, after turning the computer on and off again, actually shutting down the computer for 5 minutes and restarting it. All it needed was a little Italian home cooking.
Nona's cooking, it works wonders, and more than just warming the cockles of your heart.
I'm imagining going into the Apple Genius Bar, of which I haven't been for several years. One, because there's been a pandemic. Two, because I treat my laptops better than I did when I was a student. But I feel like every time you go, you have to lie to them. And I don't know with the lasagna if you lie or not. Like, I definitely once brought a laptop in that I had clearly dropped on the ground in a class and had like a huge front dent, and was like, I don't know, it just stopped working. And they were like, seems like maybe you dropped it and dent. And I was like, no. And like, they kind of, I mean, what can they do? Right. So I feel like, do you bring the lasagna in to explain the problem, or do you hide it?
I see where Norman gets it.
Yeah, do I have to do like a surreptitious lasagna check, basically? Like
right.
Roll thievery for lasagna smuggling?
I'm not sure I understand Zoe's question. Are you suggesting that when Armat brings his computer in for tech support, that there are going to be telltale lasagna signs all over the computer?
I mean, like, you bring the frozen lasagna in to show them, right? Because sometimes I feel like they never believe you.
Is that mozzarella on your computer?
I just mean to be like, look, it's got this fan thing. But if you set it on a frozen item and lasagna works, like it fixed, like the more you can show them what helps, I feel like otherwise they just like send your computer away and it comes back as broken as when you started.
So are you proposing that you bring the lasagna in to reproduce the
yes,
troubleshooting
to
step,
show them what
but then deny that you've been using it? Like, what?
Now hang on here, friend.
I don't think you have to deny it in this case, because I don't think it breaks any sort of warranty. I think if you've dropped your computer, they start to get upset.
I want to read the laptop that comes with a lasagna clause.
I guess those terms of service are very long, so who knows? It might be in there.
Okay, wait a minute. So Zoe, you're suggesting...
Hit me up. What am I suggesting?
You're suggesting that if you go to the Apple Genius Bar...
Mm-hmm.
They won't understand the concept of putting your computer on something cold unless you also carry with you a frozen lasagna.
It's not about the concept. It's like seeing that it works, right?
But if the thing's not overheating at the moment, then also having the frozen thing there with you will be a moot point.
Well, sure.
So you got to go to the Genius Bar, start recording a podcast.
Right. We should do our next session with you at the Genius Bar.
I'm actually thinking I'll bring a cooler full of various frozen items and be like, all right, let's try the mozzarella sticks. No, those don't cool as well.
Peas
Probably
aren't
because
doing
they're
it.
too
They're
small
uneven.
and they can't carry enough chill.
I'm really enjoying right now the idea that every time you go to the Genius Bar, you have to decide whether you're going to do a diplomacy check or a deception check.
I have rolled way more deception checks.
I go intimidation every time. You will fix this computer.
Maybe the odd intimidation check. But
I just go straight to combat.
Yeah, kill them. They don't have your best interest at heart. Oh, speaking of straight to combat, am I right?
Yes.
Nailed it.
We had a whole other thing we were going to talk about. You're going to have to stay tuned, listener, to hear the thing that we were going to...
I think
put
this
it off
worked
for
out.
like 6 weeks.
Chef's kiss.
No, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed all this lasagna talk. Are you kidding me?
I'm here
If
for it.
you are enjoying Tabletop Gold, please rate and review us on your podcast app of choice. Now, let's get into our game. It's nighttime, and you've returned to the narrow crypt on the second level of the dungeon beneath Gauntlight to confront a well-dressed shadow from which you ran away just a day ago. Vadim His dreams, haunted by images of this undead creature, has taken up the lead to finish it off. You've gathered some information and prepared accordingly. But will it be enough? When we left off last time, I just want to sort of articulate some stuff before we really jump into it. Trill and Norman are both holding onto scrolls. We don't know exactly what those scrolls are. Listener, don't turn. If you want to know what those scrolls are, keep listening to this podcast because I imagine you'll find out pretty soon.
But first, rate and review it.
Yes. If you learn what these scrolls are before rating and reviewing this podcast, we will know about it. And we will come. Yes.
Wait, how?
It's
an
empty threat.
Big data. It's big data.
It's
big data. Yeah.
So you are standing in the entryway of this crypt. Right now, Vadim has taken up the lead and has just made a threatening comment to this shadow. Mag is right behind him. Norman is just outside this crypt, and Trill is right behind him.
We got a couple fun little purchases that are going to pop up this battle, I think.
And we'll find out what those are after we...
Roll for initiative.
Man, that gets me
right.
going every time.
Yeah.
Okay, David, what did you roll for initiative?
Well, I'm sorry to report that after traveling all the way up from town for the specific purpose of opening this door, just prior to opening the door, Mag decided to examine all of her javelins.
Just count them.
No javelins.
So I rolled an 8 for initiative.
What bad timing. Oh, gosh. Okay. That sounds bad. Zoe, what did you roll?
Meager 12 for Norman.
Okay. Armat.
I got an 18.
Oh, Vadim. It makes sense. Vadim is ready for this situation. He stepped in.
Yeah, he's been jazzing himself up, you know?
Absolutely. You are ready for this fight. And Robin, what did you roll?
Well, Trill kind of could tell that Mag was thinking about javelins, and Trill got distracted by Mag thinking about javelins, and Trill rolled a 2 on the die for a 9.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, bad news for you. As we start into round 1, that means that the shadow is going to go first. And this shadow, Natalie dressed in the garb of a high-ranking servant of some sort.
The shadow's name is Natalie?
That's right. Natalie dressed.
D-rest.
This shadow butler is going to slide along the floor, popping up right in front of Vadim, and extends its shadowy hand out towards Vadim, reaching through his chest with a 24 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay, that means that Vadim is going to take a total of 9 points of negative damage, and he feels his shadow being tugged on. This is all stuff that you saw before when Mag got her shadow tugged, which means that Vadim is now enfeebled 1 as his shadow starts to come loose.
Ooh.
It's now Vadim's turn. There's something I should clarify. When we did this before, and I'm going to pull the curtain back, I had the shadow do certain things that it really shouldn't be doing. This creature is incorporeal, which means that if you want to move over to the other side of it, you merely have to walk through it. It doesn't require any kind of acrobatics check, no tumbling through, etc. But it also means that you cannot grab, trip, or shove it.
Given that, Vadim is, in fact, going to rush right through the shadow, turns around, interacts to draw a ghost charge bomb.
Ooh.
Another secret purchase.
Thanks to Robin/Trill for finding this in the alchemical items list.
And thanks to Mr. Messy for letting us know the kinds of things we could do.
And he's going to throw that ghost charge bomb at the shadow for a 22 to hit.
All right.
22 is going to hit its armor class. Go ahead and roll damage for this ghost charge, which explodes and does positive damage, which you know affects this shadow.
Cool. That is 6 damage.
So that is going to be 6, and then also 1 point of splash damage, which is also going to hurt this shadow. And that's 3 actions from Vadim: running, drawing the bomb, and throwing it. It is now Norman's turn as he looks into the room and sees Mag and Vadim on far sides of this hallway, the shadow in the middle.
Isn't it also enfeebled 1?
Oh, good catch. Yes, I'm sorry.
Ooh.
The shadow is also enfeebled
Nice.
1, which means that its strength stuff is 1 lower.
Mag, in theory, you could go and like move past it. Or I could delay my turn. You could go,
Right.
and I could go at the end and have, if you want to go past it. But
In other words, like that would give you a clearer sight at it to.
but then you'll be in front of Vadim, so I don't know.
Can I also point out something we haven't really been doing a lot, but would be really helpful is delaying turns for Trill to go
For Trill to go first.
Good call.
before AO so that Trill can buff AO.
Okay, well maybe that's what I'll do. Is I'll go, but not all
Yeah.
the way past Mag. I'll go and then take my turn. So Norman mumbles over his shoulder, seeing this scene. Hey, troll girl, can you hit us up with some of those sweet tunes?
Yeah.
So Norman delays his turn, and it is now Trill's turn.
So Trill's gonna do her the Trill special, which is starting off with lingering composition and inspire courage. She's gonna do her performance check. It's an average 15.
So that 15 is a failure.
So you're telling me that Trill failed a performance check, is that right?
Yeah, that is. Yes, I don't know. In plain language, yes, that is what I'm telling.
That's kind of interesting because I've got a really interesting hero point card
Oh.
from a
Are
fellow.
you going to play it? Are you playing a hero point card?
I think I might be playing a hero point card. Now, this hero point card is from it's from Chris in Astoria, Queens.
Oh, weird.
It's kind of weird.
Do you
Could
do
be
you know this
anybody.
person?
I don't know this fellow at all. And the trigger for it is Trill fails a performance check. It's called Broken String. And the effect is Trill's harp is essentially a magical battery storing good vibes from all of her songs. So when an errant string breaks, it discharges a powerful harmonic blast. All enemies must perform a will save. On failure, the enemy becomes stunned 1.
Woo! All right, here comes the will save as this broken string punctures the eardrums of this shadow. That is versus your spellcasting DC. Is that the idea?
Class or spellcasting DC. So I guess spellcasting DC makes sense for Trill.
So I just rolled an 18 on my will save.
What do ties go to?
They go to me!
Ugh.
Okay. So the
That was so cool.
Thanks, Chris.
that was very cool.
Thanks,
It was
Chris.
awesome.
So the shadow withstands the sound of this broken string, but everybody still, if you choose to cast Inspire Courage, will get a round of Inspire Courage, and you do not spend a hero point, or you do not spend a focus point.
I will still absolutely cast the Inspire Courage. Yes, Trill, of course, is going to cast her Inspire Courage. Why wouldn't she?
Great. So that means that you have 2 more actions.
And with her second and third action, she's going to use one of those magic missile scrolls that she happened to pick up. So that is 8 damage.
Nice.
Nice.
So with Inspire Courage, that 8 is actually 9.
Nice.
So the shadow is slammed as if it were made of solid matter twice quickly in the chest as 2 darts fly over Norman and Mag's head.
Yeah, that's right. Thought you were so smart, weren't you? With your no brain and your incorporeal being.
Nice work, Trill.
And that's the end of Trill's turn.
Let me try that, says Norman, and decides to go now. And he takes his magic wand, his scroll. This is the new bow arrow of this episode. He takes his scroll and fires 3 quick missiles for a total of 10, but plus 1 for Inspire Courage, so 11.
3 more darts fly over Mag's head and slam into the shadow for 11 points of damage. This shadow looks very, very badly injured as you have kicked down the door of the crypt and just pelted it with magic missiles.
And
It is now Mag's turn.
Norman nonsensically goes, now who's a butler?
I'm really curious who a ghost shadow was a butler for.
Yeah, like I'm curious as to what. I mean, maybe this is for after combat, but I'm like curious as to what we're all thinking about what's going on this floor.
May I kill it first?
You may.
Please.
Go ahead, Mag. Please, we wish you would.
I'm sorry, it's just been a really long day. And I'd really like to smash the shadow.
And here I go talking about bubbling.
No. The only thing I want to do more than smash the shadow is talk about who it buddled for. Oh my God. Like, it's like I don't know whether to eat the sandwich or the fries. Okay. Let's finish the job with all our special little things. All right. None of this is surprising Mag or taking her by surprise. So Mag is not in a rageful place. Mag is cool, calm, collected, and ready. She draws Haplo's bastard sword, two-handed. She strides through the shadow, and as she does, she feels a familiar chill from when the last time it reached into her chest and began detaching her shadow. And with the barest of shivers, crosses onto its other side. And then she moves to strike the shadow with the two-handed bastard sword. And she rolls... Oh, come on! A 17 to hit.
That 17 is a miss as the shadow ducks out of the way and the glowing bastard sword throws sparks up into the air as it clangs onto the floor of this crypt.
I am
Maybe
annoyed.
Mag will be raging next turn. Let's see what happens as we hit the top of round 2. Mag and this shadow are in the middle of this crypt with Vadim on one end and Norman and Trill on the other end. The space is tight, and Mag once again sees herself confronted by this nattily-dressed ghostly figure. Its hand reaches out and grabs a hold of Mag by the neck for a 17 to hit.
17 does not hit Mag's AC.
And it just as quickly reaches through her head with its other hand and tries to grab a hold of her hair, yanking down with its shadowy hand. That is a 22 to hit.
Well, 22 is going to do it.
Mag feels her hair being ripped out for 10 points of negative damage.
Ooh.
And she feels the familiar sensation of strength easing out of her body as her shadow starts flopping off of her head down around her neck.
It's cold.
And that means that Mag is now enfeebled 1 as Vadim sees the opportunity to act.
So Vadim draws out his Aldori dueling sword
It's a
in a
beautiful
broad, slow draw. And he points it at the shadow. And a slight smirk comes onto his face. And he charges forward past Mag, past the shadow, and makes a strike with his blade, which is not gonna hit. It's a 15.
And a 15 against the Shadow's flat-footed armor class is a miss.
Ugh. That was factoring in the flat-footed, wasn't it?
It sure was.
Oof.
You are at the
Womp
bargaining
womp.
stage, though, which I think is a healthy place to be at this point on your turn.
Grief and resignation next.
At the top of Trill's turn,
Apologies.
the Inspire Courage vanishes from all of you. And Trill has 3 actions. What is Trill going to do?
Trill is going to inspire courage again. because why not? So she plays another, come on, guys, we can do this. I believe in a thing called love. You know, another nice little rockin' tune.
Just a
So no lingering
stranger
composition, but all of you
on
are
the
once
bus.
more inspired.
I'm feeling it.
I mean, this thing, if it had blood, it would be bleeding, right, Lars?
That's what they say. That's what my old pappy used to tell me. That shadow had
If it's
blood,
got
it'd be
blood.
bleeding.
There's so many people in her way that it's kind of tricky to do anything.
Who's up after Trill?
Me.
Ao and then Mag. I think Trill will at this point just try and TKP from here. I know it's not the most useful, but this thing's so damaged that it's better than nothing. So yeah,
You just gotta hit it.
Yeah.
Trill's just going to go ahead and TKP. Trill is finding some pointy rocks on the floor because she's just trying to move them around everyone. She knows it's not lit up. She knows there's no light on it. She knows it's not the magic missile. She's just throwing whatever is there. And... oof. That's only a 15, so that's a miss.
Those sharp rocks fly straight through the shadow, doing no damage whatsoever.
Yeah.
And with that, it is now Norman's turn.
Norman looks around and he goes, Mag, you're right there. Finish it off. And he delays.
Making it now Mag's turn.
Mag rages. Mag rages. Mag mad. Mag
The
raging
glasses
and
have
mad.
come out.
Rage glasses, I love it.
Ah, David mad. Mag mad.
It's method acting.
It's yeah. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump between our feelings right now. Mag wanted this thing last turn, and since then, it's begun to try to pull her shadow off again. Before her strike, she's going to attempt to intimidate. So, unraging, her eyes go bloodshot red. Her hand begins to glow red on the hilt of Haplo's glowing bastard sword, which she holds out toward the shadow, and she screams in its face, "You leave me alone!" That is a 12 to intimidate.
The shadow doesn't look at you. The shadow looks past you. That's how unintimidated by you this shadow is. The shadow has somebody more interesting on the other side of the room to pay attention to, and you do not register a blip for it.
It's a butler. It's faced worse.
Yeah. Its upper lip is beyond stiff right now as you scream in its face.
So I think Mag would respond to that by saying something like, I guess you'd probably say like, "Ah!" and lifts the sword and brings it down toward the head of the shadow, and that is a 22 to hit.
And you feel part of your blade rip through the shadow. Go ahead and roll damage.
That is with my new magically enhanced weapon. Woo! That is 22 damage.
What?
Yo, striking runes rule.
Right. That hero point is not just for landing the blow that rips this shadow in half and ends this combat. That hero point is also for really making the overpowered, messed up choice to attach a striking rune to a bastard sword at level 2 or whatever. Like, just
likes to hit
incredibly
stuff.
good planning, incredibly good planning for everybody. I kind of want to give a hero point to Norman also. Just for that massive magic missile blast. I'm going to say right now, I think that shadows are podcast killers. I think that nobody wants to hear somebody fight a shadow, and I'm so appreciative of you guys destroying this one with such ruthless efficiency.
Yeah.
Really incredible. 22 points of damage. Of course, it resists 5 of that, so only 17 damage, which is
enough.
that'll do, pig. So here you are, standing in this crypt, this narrow hallway. you're barely hemmed in by these by the walls of this crypt. There are these 3 alcoves extending to the east and west of this hallway, each of which contains a sarcophagus.
And Norman looks back at the light, which they've come past, and he's actually managed to resist, and he looks at the floating remains of the shadow, and he sort of, gently but determinedly sidles past Vadim and Mag down to the last 2 things. And he's like, that thing has to have been protecting something worthwhile in here. Here, everyone check a sarcophagus. Are they sarcophagi? I don't know. How do you pluralize these? Just check one.
Mag's rage is just starting to subside, but she is very focused or semi-obsessed with the idea that there might be another one of these creatures that's going to try to continue to peel her shadow off, which she has not appreciated in the past. So she is happy to, scout around, but she is mostly on the lookout for anything that's an adversary, and especially she's checking every single shadow she's like poking the shadows in the room with her lit up sword to see if any of them respond unusually.
The only thing that's more of a podcast killer is 8 more of these shadows we now have to do in perpetuity. It's just this show now. It's just us fighting shadows.
Well, luckily we've been game planning for them for a month, so we just have a ton of shadow options now.
Trill immediately starts crawling around the sarcophagi and behind them, checking the walls for any secret passages. She's not going into the sarcophagi because gross.
Norman's not fazed by that. If he can pry the covers off,
I bet
Vadim
has feelings about these sarcophagi. Yeah.
Well, Vadim is actually just sort of standing there, looking at the remains of the shadow. And you might be confused to see that he actually looks what might be disconsolate or sad.
Oh.
But then the moment passes and he looks up and his voice is quiet and he says, "Thank you. Thank you." And then he helps begin looking around.
So I'm going to resolve these kind of one at a time. Norman is specifically looking in these sarcophagi for treasure, right?
Valuables, treasure, loot or totems, anything that, items for sure. If it's shiny, he's happy. Or if it's a tooth.
Grave goods. Sure. Let's do some grave robbing. How do you feel about that, Vadim?
That is a good question. Let me look up. I don't think Pharasma is a big fan of that, to be honest with you. I think Vadim may...
I don't think Pharasma likes that one bit.
No, I think that's, in fact, anathema to Vadim.
So Norman starts creaking this sarcophagus open. I'm going to narrate real quick. Norman sees inside an ancient, it's just a skeleton at this point. It's just, there's a body in here. You don't see anything shiny. And that's what Norman's able to see for a brief moment.
Norman! What are you doing?
Looking for loot, obviously.
You're disturbing a grave!
I would say the graves are disturbing us,
Norman.
Vadim.
Come on.
Okay, so look,
you
man.
know perfectly well I am a servant of Pharasma. I cannot have you disturbing a grave. Would you go and dig a Pablo? Of course not.
Norman gives the biggest eye roll ever. Just he's like, okay, well, here's what we know. That thing was in here defending something, right? I mean, what's going on here? Up above, there were those blue guys, whatever they were, and there were the kobold ghosts, and then there were the skeletons in the shrine. Down here, we've got those Morlocks, Forlocks, who were keeping the incroyable Jeffrey prisoner, and there's some sort of torture chamber. And what the hell is this shadow defending? What was it doing? I mean, we got to figure it out.
Yes.
Who cares if a few bodies get disrupted?
I do.
Trill's crawling around the back of all of these things, and as she's crawling around and trying to go along the walls to see if she can find any more secret passages, she crawls out.
Norman, I get it. You don't really follow any religions, but give Vadim this one thing. Come on.
Thank you, Trill. And Vadim is just so grateful to have backup.
And Norman reaches into his back pocket and pulls out a sailor hat, and he's like, what if it wasn't Norman doing it, but John Pablo the sailor?
Still not ship-shape, Norman.
And as this interaction is happening, Mag is scouting the room, looking for more shadows to jump out. And as this conversation wraps up, Mag is satisfied that there are no other enemies here in the room with you.
Well, let's see if there's a secret passageway or, I don't know, something that tells us something about this. I'll give you the graves for now.
We also might be able to look, if you're done desecrating them, to see if we can identify whose graves these were. I think it's curious that we come across a crypt here in the underground layers.
Well, that shadow was so Natalie dressed. I mean, she must have been a butler.
Oh, you know Natalie.
Yes, Natalie D. Rest. I mean, it was right on her
She's
name tag.
wonderful.
Every good butler has one. It's just, I think she might have been, I don't know, serving these people? Were these her masters or people who ordered her around? I mean, she seemed duty-bound to protect them?
And it sounded like Vadim was looking at investigating who these sarcophagi belong to, right?
Yeah, trying to examine the tombs. I don't know if he can tell from like the funerary architecture. Would that be like a religion?
Ooh.
I think that somebody could make a society check to try to determine the social function that these people served.
I've got pretty good society.
Okay.
Yeah, you do.
So,
Vadim does not.
so I'm going to say that Vadim is able to find a nameplate here. And
Natalie B. Dressed.
It's just a common name. It is Natalie B. Dressed. As you yes and this campaign into oblivion. And Norman does a society check. I'm going to roll that for you to try to determine what he can determine about this name. And Norman is able to tell that this name is befitting a servant of some sort and also some sort of great religious figure.
A great religious servant. It has to both be true.
Yeah, some really dubious knowledge. Which is
Very
which? Knowledge.
and Norman looks around. He's like, Vadim, you were right. This is a very important servant. They might all be very important servants. This is a whole of very important servants.
Well, regardless, don't desecrate graves regardless of who is buried, but
They wanted to be of use in life, man. They want to be of use in death. That's what very important servants do.
I wonder whether this very important servant was in some way, if not conscripted against their will, perhaps bound by magic to the people they served, just as Borbo was.
Then it is a good thing that we ended their torment.
Mag puts a hand on Vadim's shoulder and nods.
Thank you, Mag.
As that hand hits Vadim's shoulder, you hear a click from the far end of the room as Trill has found a loose stone in the wall, and a secret door swings open, leading into a room to the south.
She's like a truffle pig with secret doors.
And
A secret door
it really
pig?
is Trill's world, and we're all living in it.
David, were
Ain't
you?
that the
I'm
truth?
just like looking at your face, David. Were you like completely shocked that there's a secret door in here?
No.
You
I'm
thought
not
something
shocked
was
that-
going to come get us.
I'm not shocked that there's a secret door in here. I'm shocked that it's just the dice. It's incredible.
It's wild. It's really wild.
I can't think of a check that Trill has failed. She's
Except for that performance check where I got to use that great
She's-
hero
That's
point.
fair. Yeah, true. She's the buffer. She deals all the damage. She finds all the doors. I think my character's here for flavor.
It's Trill's world. We're all just living in it.
I don't know, 22 damage? That was pretty spicy.
Yeah, that was pretty excellent.
Oh, it gave me a new feeling.
Did you like this game again?
I currently like the game. Yes.
I like this regular status update. Does David like the game?
Yeah.
I feel like we need a down detector for David. Like, does David like the game?
It's a pretty bimodal. It's a kind of a thumbs up, thumbs down situation. There's not a lot going on in the middle.
So Trill looks back and her hair starts sparkling. Hey, guys!
I found another secret door.
Trill, you're incredible.
This is fun.
Makes you wonder how secret they are.
They're just big doors in the wall.
Not secret.
Pass through.
Stay
here.
away.
Trill
They're very
steps
brightly
through.
colored, but they're 4 feet tall. The rest of us are just walking by them.
I don't see
They're
anything.
Trill-sized.
So the four of you step through this secret door, and this room looks as though it was originally a kitchen. See counters, the remains of kitchenware around, but the furnishings have been rebuilt and repositioned to create an improvised shrine. As you close the secret door behind you, you can see that there is a intricate pattern written in blood marking the location of the secret door that you have just come through.
Whoa.
Okay, Narky, our friend Narky, who created this, the images we're using on Foundry. Narky, this is a creepy ass room that you have created here.
Bravo, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me keep telling you about what you see in this room. So you see this improvised shrine. The western end of the hall, where a large fireplace for cooking food once stood, now serves as an altar of sorts. Looming over a human corpse is a towering statue in a feminine shape made of bones, covered in sheets of moldering cloth and hanging moss. So what do you do?
Everyone.
Can Vadim
Move
make
cautiously.
a religion check to see if he understands what kind of altar this might be?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perhaps this is somehow connected to the worship of the Ghost Queen.
Nyang Nyang Bonobo.
Good afternoon, Norman.
Nyang Nyang Bonobo.
So Vadim starts investigating. Can you give me that religion check, please?
Absolutely. 16.
Vadim knows that this divinity being worshipped here is not a well-known goddess. As you look at this feminine figure made of bones that this shrine is assembled at the center of this shrine, you recognize this as an image of Belcora.
Oh.
This is the same figure that you saw in the portrait in the northern outbuilding. Of course, it's also made out of bones and moss and stuff. So it's not a perfect replica, but it's
An abstraction.
It's an abstraction.
Norman begins growling.
What is this thing?
Servants didn't do a very good job of cleaning up.
Yes, it certainly is disturbing. It appears to be some sort of representation of Belcora. Vadim sort of moves closer to it, looking at
So
it.
Vadim steps past this corpse towards the shrine.
Yeah. Gingerly stepping.
Are they sacrificing to her?
That would fit with other things we've seen. It seems as though perhaps everything living down here has come to worship Belcora over time.
Is she Nyang Nyang Bonobo?
Did we learn that Belcora and the Ghost Queen were separate, correct?
I tried to ask.
I don't think we know that.
We don't know that.
We don't know.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I think we just know that they worship someone called the Ghost Queen.
I thought I tried to ask Vandy, and I definitely asked someone in town about
I think
Belcora
we just
and the
didn't
Ghost
find
Queen.
out I think we asked
Yes,
that, but we didn't find out
right.
definitively.
But I did ask someone once.
Yeah.
Right. What we found out was that Nimbleoth and the Ghost Queen are not the same thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
what I was.
That's right.
Cool.
And
Thanks,
I
guys.
think, I mean, it seems plausible that the Ghost Queen would be Belcora, that would account for this shrine here. We found another shrine somewhere else that was to a similar, it was similarly like, seemed like one room had been turned into, or like sort of repurposed as a shrine.
That was the one
over
with
time.
the head, with the moss, and that one we connected to
Nimbleoth.
Yeah.
It was like the little circular room off of the lighthouse. Had a
That's what I was
with
thinking
that-
of, but that's a Nimbleoth.
But this is all still
thing.
on the same level.
Yeah.
So are these all... So Trill, of course, is now looking at this queen. Are these all things that the Morlocks are worshipping?
I think there's a couple of things going on here. I mean, that seems to be Belcora, maybe Nyang Nyang Bonabo, and there was the Nimbleoth thing, but I think maybe we've got different people at different times. I mean, that shadow, Natalie down in the hallway, she could have been here a long time, and maybe those Morlocks are more recent. I mean, when we came in before, they were different people from different times.
There's a decaying creature by the light that seems to be older. Up on the surface, there was fresh blood. I agree. There may be people coming or creatures coming and going from these areas at different times.
Trill wants to investigate this room a little bit and then move through that northern door. Because that northern door, I don't think we've gone through anything on the other side of that.
Although I will say maybe we should heal quickly before we go elsewhere.
So while you guys maybe heal, because Trill's fine, she wants to
so is
investigate.
Okay, let's get those medicine. Are you laying on hands or are you treating wounds?
What a weird room to heal in.
Seriously. I'm not terribly injured, so I think, or Vadim rather, is...
Well, you've got a frozen lasagna.
Yeah,
I've got a
you're
frozen
all set.
lasagna. I'm doing good,
Yeah,
y'all.
that lasagna's doing great. Is it cooked
Can
yet?
you smell it? It is... I think like maybe 20 more minutes, and then we're good.
Broil it a little at the end so the cheese bubbles.
Yeah.
Dude, that's such a good idea. I'm going to take the tinfoil off.
Just start running Tabletop Simulator and Steam at the same time.
No,
and it should
don't
be
do that.
perfect.
Don't do that. We need that computer. Don't do that.
Oh, weird. I've never steamed a lasagna before. Boo.
You also want to get rid of enfeebled, and I think that takes an hour.
Yeah, based on past experiences, Zoe, you're absolutely correct. Vadim and Mag are still enfeebled, and that seemed to wear off after around an hour before.
Maybe we take an hour, and I think in that hour, Vadim can heal
Yeah, that's
everyone
plenty.
up with...
I'm only down 10 points.
And Norman
I'm
will
only
investigate
down
with Trill.
about that, too.
Okay, so Norman and Trill start investigating the room over that hour. And I just want to reiterate, just because you brought up the doors. There are 2 doors leading off to the east. There's the secret door that you came through, and then there is a door in the northwest corner of the room. So where would you guys like to investigate as this healing is happening?
While everyone's healing, Norman wants to look. He's very ginger and careful, but at the corpse on the ground, he's trying to figure out something about it.
Norman approaches the corpse,
Oh, no.
And
And-
kills him.
Don't fling it.
puts his hand underneath it, and rolls it over. It moves more easily than you would have expected. The first thing you notice is that the corpse sports a long mustache, a round little pot belly,
No.
and the body's right arm looks like it has been missing for many, many years.
We're too late.
Joffrey.
A few feet away, you see a prosthetic arm along with other offerings at the base of the statue.
Oh, no. Poor Joffrey.
Woof. Will, I think we have found Jeffrey.
Joffrey.
Whatever.
Meffrey?
Weird. I can't believe I'm on the other side of this one, says Norman. But I don't know. Can we say goodbye to him? Or I don't know what Lion Crab Jeffrey would want.
I think we have to bring the body back up to the surface, try and inter it in a real grave. This is horrifying. No one should face the afterlife in this condition.
Plus, they lost their medium, and we totally could have gotten some useful information if he'd been alive. This is a bummer all around.
Norman,
Yeah?
this is not about the information we could have gotten right now. This is
right,
someone's brother. We were here to rescue him.
Yeah. You're right.
Vadim walks over to Trill and kneels down and puts his arms around her.
And Trill starts crying.
It's okay. Let it out.
Norman, sort of awash with feelings and like realizing how callous he's been, looks up at the shrine of Belcor and he's like, this is about her. We're going to figure out somewhere in here that she's at the bottom of all of this. She's at the bottom of that light. She's at the bottom of that shadow. I don't know. I don't have a good feeling. She does something to me inside.
Right, Norman.
On hearing that, Mag walks shoulder to shoulder, stands next to Norman, staring at the shrine to Belcora, and does her best to imitate Norman's growl from before.
Trill's tears subside and she's a little snotty from all of the crying. She wipes away some of her. She wipes her face with the edge of her skirt.
Thanks, Vadim.
Of course. I'm sorry you had to see it.
We need to bring his body up. You know, whatever there is of it. It looks like he's been dead so much longer than they've been down here. What have they done to him?
I think you could do a medicine check to get a sense of that sort of question of how long he's been here, that kind of thing.
Norman, shall we go look, try and see if we can see what happened to this poor soul?
Yeah, we need to know who did this and who's doing it for her. He sneers at the Belcora statue again.
I agree. I think we should destroy this altar before we leave as well.
We need to burn it to the ground.
Something we can agree on. Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
I would be happy to destroy it.
Vadim rolled a 15 on a medicine check. I don't know if Norman can help.
It's a 23 for Norman.
Nice. There we go.
So Norman gets the sense that this body has been here for several days, maybe as long as a week or so. In my preparation for this game, I was going to do a fun joke about how if only you had gotten here without Mag forging that rune, you would have saved people. I'm reading the tone of the room is suggesting that such a joke would not be greeted with the hilarity that I was expecting it to be.
You got rage glasses back.
Rage
glasses.
Not
David
on the
raging.
rage glasses.
But yeah, it's been here for a few days, and you just see stab wounds on it on the body.
Poor guy.
So Norman looks around. He's like, I think we should bring this body back, but I kind of get the sense that it might be worth us figuring out what's going on. At least checking out in there. I mean, it's not that late. Can we bring him back in a little while?
We can come back. We'll come back this way.
Absolutely.
Then let's go. Mag, you want to do the honors?
Mag assumes from that Norman means to destroy the shrine.
Wait, hold on. Matt, do you have your Warhammer with you?
Yes, it's here. Mag reaches behind and grabs it by the head and holds it by the head and extends it out to Trill for Trill to hold.
And Trill takes the Warhammer and she takes it by the handle and focuses very much on the head of this kind of obvious kind of representation of Belcora, not paying attention to the fact that I assume Mag is still holding onto the head of the warhammer.
Yeah, exactly. So Mag is standing behind Trill in such a way that she's able to sort of flick the hammer forward, but such that Trill can't see it.
Yep, Trill's winding up, and Trill, thinking with all of her might, she brings it forward and slams the warhammer down on the head of the skull that is in front of her.
Yeah, and there's an effect here of sort of like when you're helping a 5-year-old like swing a bat like in T-ball or something. So it's all of Trill's might and also like a little bit of Mag's.
And that's enough to make the skull at the top of this rigged together statue representing Belcora splits open and bones crack apart, and the thing sort of falls against the southern wall and rests halfway up, and then the other side of it collapses onto the floor, sort of split neatly in half as it just sort of sadly falls over.
And Trill
Well struck, Trill.
spits on it.
As Trill spits on it, she notices a few things at the base of the shrine,
Oh.
seemingly also left there as offerings. A dark red gemstone.
She grabs that.
You see a faintly glowing stone with a rune carved onto it.
She grabs that.
And you see an odd glowing green gem.
She grabs that. She of course, she's handed Mag back the warhammer.
Thanks,
What'd you
Mag.
get there? What was that? Those look shiny, huh? What's going on? What'd you find?
She looks down at these 3 stones in her hands.
Well, I guess they found some neat things to try and leave as offerings to their bitch queen here.
And Trill...
Nang, nang, bonobo, Norman says sadly.
Good morning.
That's right. And Trill, can she use read aura on the...
Yeah. So you
to
spend
see
a
if
few
any of
minutes
these-
reading the aura, and I'm going to say this is happening at the tail end of this healing process. That red stone seems to have no magic on it whatsoever.
Backpack for later.
The glowing green stone has on it enchantment magic, and the rune stone has evocation magic on it.
So avocation, that's going to be something that's like a rune that you would attach to a weapon, right?
I'm going to say that all of you have seen this object enough times that you know what it is. This is a weapon potency rune.
There you go.
Cool. So that's like adds a plus
Plus 1
one
to hit.
To hit.
Jumpers could always use a little bling. I mean, you know, I still don't know what happened to that magic rapier, so it seems like having a magic rapier and something else would probably be good in case I lose this magic rapier. They seem to come and go. It's very confusing. So what do you say? I'll put it on the
must be
bow.
something to do with the magic in this place. Very strange.
Yeah,
She,
I don't get
so
it.
She tosses that to Norman, and then that was the green one, right? Or that was the
That was the runestone. The green item, Trill is able to, if you'd like to spend 10 minutes identifying it.
Yeah, let's identify it.
Yeah.
Finish off everyone's healing as well then.
And as the healing finishes up, you identify this object as a talisman that attaches to a weapon that is known as a fear gem. You can spend 2 actions to use the intimidating strike action, which is a melee strike that if you hit and deal damage with it, it frightens the creature that
Oh.
you've hit.
This is like a good one-time thing.
It's a one-time you use it and it burns up. If you crit with it, it inflicts frightened 2 on the creature you're attacking.
Well, I
Oh,
know
well,
somebody
that's
who likes
fun.
to frighten. And that's
Cool.
a lady
You
who
know-
screams.
Correction. You know someone
Mag?
who likes to try to frighten.
Hey,
Mag.
Mag.
Good
morning.
Good morning.
This does something you like.
It does. Mag, on hearing its description relayed by Trill, Mag reaches out for the fear gem.
And Trill happily hands it over.
And you can attach that to a weapon by spending 10 minutes. There's no check or anything like that to do it.
All right, I'll attach it to the bastard sword.
To the javelins.
So 10 minutes later, you're standing in this room, you get the impression that you have found everything there is to find here.
Well, shall we push on before we return?
Okay. We'll come back to you, she says to Joffrey. We'll come back and we'll bring you back to your brothers and your sister.
Yeah, his sister. That's right, definitely his sister.
Mag takes her bedroll out of her backpack and she spreads it over the body so the body is concealed. Satisfied that she's done so thoroughly and respectfully, she turns on her heel and returns to the door at the northwest corner of the room.
Thanks, Mag. That was nice.
That was beautiful, Mag. Thank you.
So as you're exploring, what would you like to do?
Trill is always be investigating now.
Mag will scout for enemies.
Norman's looking for traps.
Vadim will search.
So Mag pushes the door open, and you now find yourselves in what looks like a pantry, where there's some broken shelving on the western side of the wall, smashed into pieces, only fragments remaining. You see 2 doors leading out of this room, one to the northwest, leading west, one to the northeast, leading east.
All right, Mag steps in and cautiously examines the shelves.
Trill starts checking the lower levels of the shelves for any hidden anything hidden.
Inevitable, brightly colored hidden door.
Anything to pull on that opens any secret passages.
I love the idea that we're just imagining that there's a tall person, short person mechanic in this game, and you have to have one of each in order
I know
to
that
correctly
there's
search.
not. It's just like there's no
I like
facing
it.
and things, but it just
Yeah.
makes me happy.
Trill, I'll take the high shelves and you take the low shelves.
You start picking through these bashed apart shelves, and you get the impression that anything of value that had been here has been taken away. Maybe long ago, maybe recently, you're not sure.
Those important servants were greedy. I don't know. They don't seem to have been very good at their jobs.
But what about secret panels?
And Trill starts searching for hidden things, wanders around the room, pushing in every cobblestone, every brick, and comes up with nothing.
What a bum room.
I guess the question now is, do we go east or do we go west?
Clockwise or Widdershins?
No, helter-skelter. But we came in at the bottom, so this one to the left is obviously clockwise. Can we just do the obvious thing for once?
Mag finds this oddly compelling. As always, a little surprised to be compelled by Norman's logic. She'll step up to the door to the west and get ready to open it.
So Mag pushes that door open, and you find yourselves in a hallway that is short. It's about a 20-foot hallway with a door leading off to the south, and then an opening into some sort of cavern at the far western edge.
We've seen a cavern like this before.
By the Minotaur.
Maybe a different side of it. We went past it on our way to fight that Minotaur.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now, but I think we gotta check it out.
Do we want to pop our heads in this door to the east real quick?
Well, I guess that's clockwise.
I would have thought
What?
clockwise would be the door to the south of the hallway that we just...
I think that's the one Vadim's
That
talking
would
about,
be
right?
counterclockwise, right?
Widdershins, yeah. Nyang Nyang Bonobo.
Good morning.
Just open the door, Mag. Let's just check it out. We're right here. Let's do the obvious thing for once.
So Norman reaches out to that door leading south from the hallway you just stepped into.
Yeah.
And the door is locked.
Oh, I can fix this. Then he pulls out his thief kit and tries to open it.
All right, let's get a thievery check with that thieves kit.
I feel like I don't get to do much thieving. It's kind of exciting. I'm not so bad at it, usually. Let's see. Well, 15.
That doesn't get you anywhere. Keep rolling thievery checks.
Is he allowed to try again?
Yeah, absolutely. Keep
tries-
going with these thievery checks.
He's like, I am great at this. I've just had to practice. And he rolls a 23 the next
So
time.
that's a success, and this, like most locks, requires multiple successes to open. So the lock starts coming open in your hands.
Told you I was great at this, says Norman, rolling an 18.
And it doesn't seem like you've made progress on the lock. Let's keep going.
While Norman is fiddling with this, Mag is just looking over Norman's shoulder to the giant, interesting cavern on the other side of the hallway.
No, this is going to be worth it. I think there's going to be something really good in here. We've got a 20 and a 12.
So that the lock clicks open a little bit more.
18's not going to do it. He's like, this is it. It's happening. It's happening. I'm almost there. I've got it. This is a super easy lock. Oh, that's a 20 for 27.
And the door unlocks and swings open. And you step into a room that is an octagonal chamber.
Octagonal? Fun.
Adorned with swirling runes carved into the stone, and then filled with a dull, silvery metal. The floor is polished perfectly smooth, as is the ceiling 10 feet above you.
Ooh.
And we will pick up from there
No.
next time.
No.
It looks like Faces of the Moon!
The Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production, produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy. The Roots of Ruin uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's Community Use Policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way. Original characters and content are the property of Tabletop Gold. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Email us at letters@tabletopgold.com and find all our social links at tabletopgold.com.